Hello, everyone. Now we're going to learn the Chumash portion, the portion from the Torah that we're reading. Jews are reading all over the world this week, and that we have been reading for the last 3,300 years since God gave the Torah. 3,334 years, something like that. So now we're learning about Abraham. Abraham was the first Jew. As if you were in the Hasidic classes in the morning, you understood a little bit about what this means. I also understood a little bit about what this means, and namely that Abraham had self-sacrifice. Abraham, that's how he founded Judaism. Judaism is based on what you give, not what you receive. And the father of giving was Abraham. Abraham was only interested in giving to God, serving God. He was not interested at all, totally not interested in what he would receive. He was just waiting for God to request more and more from him. And he did. And so God, in fact, did. He put him through 10 tests. There's different opinions what these 10 tests are. But suffices to say that a test is a thing that goes against the very grain of your essence of your being. Very essence of your whole being. You get married to somebody, and suddenly you discover that this person is a liar and a cheater and a disgusting person and etc. So you get divorced. What's the problem, right? The person is not what he promised or she promised. You thought you were misled, and so that's very simple. You just get rid. So here's God talking to Abraham, and God is supposed to be good and true and powerful, almighty, omniscient, and he loves Abraham, and God lets Abraham down 10 times, big time. 10 excellent reasons to get divorced from God. Right? If a husband would do that to his wife, as the wife would have 10 perfect, ironclad reasons for divorce. And Abraham said, no, God, I'm going to do whatever you want. You're creating me. You're the boss. And you're good. And it might not be that I understand what's good. And it could be that what you're giving to me is totally not what I want. And it's against my whole grain. And it's a big surprise. I didn't think you would do these things to me, but it's your world. It's not my world. That's what Abraham did. And we'll see that God, in fact, tested Abraham from every corner of Abraham's personality. That any normal person, the most religious, fanatically, devoted person would say, oh, enough, that's it. If you assure me I'm going to go to heaven, okay, but not, and God never assured Abraham he's going to get anything. So any normal person, and that's Judaism. That's the essence of what Judaism is. Judaism is it demands from every Jew to do that. So it's no wonder that the Jews were always letting God down and sinning and such, because God has these impossible expectations from the Jewish people. And nevertheless, Mashiach is going to come and teach them how to do this, how to really serve God, because the trick of the whole thing is happiness. You got to be happy. You have to be really, truly happy to be able to serve the Creator. And the more price you pay, the better. Not to serve. Okay, here we go. So let's start off, and then I want to go to this. There's these 10 tests that Abraham was tested with. So let's see. Vayomer Hashem al Avram, God said to Avram. Notice that his name has not been changed yet. His name gets changed later on to Avraham. So let's just go through a few of the sentences quickly. And then tomorrow, God willing, we'll do some of the commentaries, the beautiful commentaries, or Achaim and the Kli Yakar. Okay, this starts off. Abraham now is 75 years old. What happened before the 75 years? And we'll see, there's different opinions. There's also a few tests over there, at least one. There's some opinions that say no. There's some people say that it starts here because it's the first test. Vayomer Hashem el Avraham, God spoke to Abraham. The Or HaChaim is going to ask, why didn't God appear first? Usually God appears to all the prophets. We'll talk about that tomorrow. God speaks to Abraham. Abraham has been searching for God for 75 years. He rejects all of the other idolatry. What's wrong with idolatry is that Abraham broke all the idols. His father was called Terach. His father was an idol manufacturer. And Abraham broke all the idols. And because of that, it says he was thrown into a fiery furnace. Those are all things that are written in the Midrash. But why did he break all the idols? What's the big thing about Abraham? Why was he so sure of himself? So it says Abraham, and why does he have to stop everybody else? Let everybody do what they want. So, and Abraham didn't go killing people or forcing people. He didn't hurt people and force them to worship. He just wanted them to stop worshiping idols. What's the problem with worshiping idols? Worshiping idols is, one word, selfish. And the essence of life is not to be selfish. Life, not just Judaism. Like I say, look in the whole 5 books of Moses. Doesn't talk about going to heaven or hell. It's talking about how to live an honest, true, productive life, unselfish. And essence of idolatry, the essence of all the other religions, is selfish. You do it in order to receive, there's a lot of Jews that do that also, but that's not right. It doesn't make it right. A lot of Jews, a lot of religious Jews, they do it in order to get into heaven. But that is not right. The essence of Judaism, the happiness of Judaism is when you forget about yourself. Happiness in general is when you forget about yourself and you do what's right. And that's why people go to bars and raves and fun places, because they forget about themselves. Do something. But here it's in the wrong direction. Abraham, right? Idolatry is in the end. In the beginning, you forget about yourself. You bow down to this idol. But the whole reason you do it is for yourself. The same thing, people go to these wild parties and things like that. So you forget about yourself and get all drugged up or whatever it is. You get all confused. But the main reason you're doing it is for yourself. Judaism is doing everything for God. And Abraham was the first person to realize that this is the key to true happiness and living a meaningful life, is devoting yourself to the truth. Because God wants an active, dynamic world. And a person that's an egotist, it limits his genuine activity and his, how do you say, his dynamicness, right? Is a better word. What's the word for it? Right? Oh, wait, anyway. Vayomer Hashem al Avram. Here we go. Here's the story. God spoke to Avram. Lech lecha. This is what, let's say, Abraham was born in 1,948 years after the world was created. And this is 75 years afterwards. So this is like 2,000 and something, 100 years, 2010 of the years, 2010 years after the world was created. Huh? Abraham has been serving God for 75 years. And God says to Abraham, Lech, go, lecha, to yourself. Where do you go to yourself? Leave your land. Me'artzecha, leave your land, me'moledecha, from your place of birth, u'mipeit avicha, and from the house of your father. All right, go from your. Now the commentaries over here ask a pretty obvious question. What does God say to Abraham? Go from your land, from your place of your birth, and from the house of your father. If he leaves his land, obviously he's going to leave these other places. Why does God say that? And why does he say it in this order? We'll talk about that later. I want to do the 10 tests first. Go. What does it say? If God promises, I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. Abarecha. Agad l'shamecha. I'll make you famous. And you will be a blessing. What does it mean, we will be a blessing? Rashi says, up to now, God said, I am the only one that blessed. From now on, you're going to have the blessings in your hands. Jews are going to have the ability to bless others. Okay, like I said, let's look at the explanations later. Let's look at the explanations. I will bless you. and I will bless those who bless you. Umakalelcha, and those who curse you, or I will curse. Don't curse a Jew. Watch out. And they will be blessed in you. Call mishpachos ha'adama, all of the families of the world. The whole world will be blessed by you. And like I said, how? Because Abraham is going to teach the whole world that there's a creator, and the creator loves everybody, and to connect to the creator. Forget about going to heaven. Forget about yourself. God will take care of you, right? You just do what God says. Everything's going to be okay. Get married, have a family, have a job, be honest, be truthful. You'll live a good life, a good eternal life. Avram went like God said. Lot came along with him. Lot was his wife's brother. Sarah was his wife. Lot was her brother. There's different opinions that say that it wasn't. Okay, it was his brother, her brother. Avram was 5 and 70 years old when they left. Pretty promising. Avram took Sarai his wife and Lot ben Achiv. Lot was the son of his brother. Sarah was also the son of his brother, the daughter of his brother, Haran. Haran. Abraham had 2 brothers, Haran and Nahor. And Haran had 3 children. Haran had 3 children. And one of them was Lot, the other one was Sora, and the other one was called Milcah. And Milcah, she got married to Abraham's other brother, who was called Nahor. And eventually they're going to give birth to Bethuel, who he is going to, you'll see the situation, the plot thickens. He gives birth to Rivka, right? Rivka, she gets married to Yitzchak. Okay. So he took the Nefesh Asher Seba Haran, he took the souls that he made in Haran. What type of souls? He said that Abraham was already teaching people about God, that there were people that he already convinced them about that God exists. So these people they went together. Avram left the land. Where were they? They were in Ur Kasdim or whatever. They came to Shechem, Elon Moreh. Now they're in Israel, the Canaanite. In those days, there were Canaanites living in Israel. What does Abraham care? God promised him the land, right? What happens next? That's it. Abraham's going to get the land. Vayera Hashem, God then appeared to Abraham and he said, to your seed, I'm going to give this land. And Abraham built an altar to God that appeared to him. And he moved from, in Israel now, he moved from Beit El, Miyam, Papai. Okay, he made another altar to God, Abraham, and Abraham was going to the south. And here it is, the great prosperity, right? There's going to be great blessings, and Abraham's going to get rich, and he's going to have a family, and they're going to live happily ever after. Right? Wrong. Some opinions say that there was a famine. This was the first famine that was ever in the history of the world. There was never there's other opinions that say there was a famine before. Anyway, not that important. There was a big famine. Abraham didn't have what to eat. Hey, where's God? What happened? Where's the promises? Where's the fertility, the riches, the success, making his name big, being blessed? What's going on over here? Where is God? What type of a God is this? Avram had to go down to Egypt, because there was nothing to eat in Israel, the holy, promised, blessed land. Nothing. Then Avram goes down to Egypt. What happens? Troubles, more troubles. Kasher Avram came to Mitzrayim, and he said to Sarai, his wife, who happened to be very beautiful, the first, now I know that you're beautiful. He says his whole life he never really cared or looked at her beauty. She was beauty, just the fact that she was a holy person. She was devoted. It says when the Egyptians see you, they'll say, this is his wife. They'll kill me and they'll take you. Say that you are my sister. Then they'll start to make deals with me. Maybe they can marry you. And Sarah ends up getting taken, kidnapped into, it says, when Abraham went down to Egypt, the Egyptians saw that she was very beautiful, and they took her to Paro, and she was taken, kidnapped into the house of Paro. No, here is Abraham seeing his beautiful wife taken from him to be raped by the king of Egypt. He's totally helpless. He's got nobody with him. Right? What happened? What type of a thing is this? God told him to go, it's going to be good, and it was terrible. There was he had to leave his. It comes out okay. Don't worry about it. It comes out all right. But nevertheless, Abraham, this is a terrible test. Let's go to here. Let's see. I hope this changes. I think it does. Huh? You'll be able to see this. Should I change things? Let me, because I don't know what's happening. I don't want to. I know what I see. I don't know what you see. So let me just change this over here. Stop the share. It's a new share. Here we go. Good. Yes. All right, here are the 10 tests here. How do you know Abraham 10 tests? The fact is, he had a lot of terrible things that happened to him. But they say there's only 10 tests because that's what it says in Pirki Avot, in the Mishnah. We just finished learning it. There were 10 tests that Abraham was tested. Eser Nisyonos, Pirki Avot, chapter 5. Eser Nisyonos, there were 10 tests that Abraham was tested, and he stood and withstood all of them. This tells you how God loved Abraham, because he paid so much attention to him. But this is very nice because there's also a lot of commentary. So I'll just try to tell you what the commentary says. Anyway, there are different opinions about what are these 10 tests. There's a book called Mugin Avot to the Rashba. There's also Pirki the Rebbe Eliezer ben Hyrcanus. Pirki the Rebbe Eliezer. This is a midrash from a long time ago, from 1,600 something years ago. Pirki the Rebbe Eliezer. Then there is Pirki the Rebbe Eliezer. Okay, another explanation of Pirki the Rebbe Eliezer. Here we go. So let's explain here. Let's explain the 10. There's the Rambam also has his counting what a 10 are. And if you really wonder about what this is, here are the different opinions, and here's how they count them. Test number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 7, and 8, 9, and 10. Right? Some count this one. So let's just say in a short way, here are the options. Some people leave 2 or 3 out. Pirkei the Rebbe Eliezer, he's the only one that says that they tried to kill Abraham when he was born. Then he was thrown into a fiery furnace. Then, starting from what we have here, Lech Lecha. The Rambam, Maimonides, is the only one that starts here with this, when God says to Abraham, Lech Lecha, go from your land. Other opinions we have, Midrash Tehillim, a Midrash Avot Rav Natan, another, it's like a Midrash. There's the Bartanura. Bartanura was Rav Avadia Bartanura. He lived 600 years ago, I think. I have to look and see. Then there's the Rambam, Pirush on the Mishnayos. And then there's Rabbeinu Yonah, Pirush and Mishnah. Right? Rambam, he lived 800 years ago, 900 years ago. Rabbeinu Yonah, the same. They live. So what are the tests? Let's just go to the explanation of Pirkei the Rebbe Eliezer. Here we have 5-10 minutes. Test number 1. When Abraham was born, everyone sensed something bad is happening. They saw it in the stars. They saw it in the zodiac. All of the kings and all of the sorcerers wanted to kill him. And Abraham hid for 13 years in the house of his brother, Haran. Now, later on, we'll see that Haran dies because of Abraham. When they throw Abraham in the fiery furnace, so Abraham miraculously survived, and Haran said, throw me in also, hoping that he would survive, and he didn't. He was burned. Okay, we'll get to that. So first test, according to the Pirki de Rabbi Eliezer, Abraham had to hide away for the first 13 years of his life because they were running after him to kill him. And after that, he went from the house of Haran, his brother. And as soon as he went out, he became this. I guess while he was in the house of Haran, he was thinking about, what's this world about? Well, how did it get here? What's it for? And immediately he despised all the idolatry, and he rejected all of the idols, and he trusted in God. And he said, Ashrei Adam botech bo, happy is the man who trusts in God. Second test, that Abraham was put into jail for 10 years. And after the 10 years, he was thrown into a fiery furnace. But God, Pashat Yadav, God stuck out his right hand and saved him from like it says, Vayomer Elav, Ani Hashem asher yotzeitecha, like God said, I am the God that took you out of Or Kasdim. I am the God that saved you from a fiery furnace. I mean, you can imagine what this is. I mean, he's just doing what he thinks is true. Everybody's worshiping their own idols. This guy is a frog, and this guy is a dog, and this guy is a person, and this guy is a woman, and this guy is the sun and the moon. So what's the big deal? So Abraham has this thing. Abraham says, no, I'm here to benefit all mankind. You people are making a mistake. I can't stand by and see this happen. Huh? It's like, they bring in a big shipment of phenol, or what's it called? Fentanyl or something, over the border. Any normal person will try to stop it. This is a heroin. It's destroying people. Well, religion also destroys people. Atheism destroys them more, but religion destroys people. So he said that he can't stand it. Abraham can't stand it. You have to worship only the creator of the universe. And therefore, his reward for his bravery and his earnestness and his truth and his standing for the truth is he got thrown into a fiery furnace, which don't try this at home. His brother did try it, and he got burned, Haran, to death, and Abraham came out miraculously alive. Now you figure if he came out miraculously alive, this would be a pretty good sign to everybody that Abraham was, at least, how do you say, should get honorable mention or something and stuff. But not really. There were people that came close to Abraham afterwards, but his problems are just beginning. That's only the first 2 of the 10 tests. Next one, the third test, that God told Abraham, Lech Lecha. That's how this week's Torah portion is starting. That Abraham had to leave his father's house, the place where he was born, and went to a place called Haran. And that's where his father died. And this is very, very right. 1 minute, let me see what this says over here. Right, and his mother, the name of his mother was of Abraham. You know what his mother's name was? It was Amtolai bat Karnobel. That's what it says. And it says that they knew these names. So this is very, very difficult for a person when his parents pass away. And this was very, very difficult. Next one, the fourth. Now, you have to realize what's going on over here. Abraham is putting himself into this whole business. He's trusting God, the king of the universe, and he figures he'll see some sort of, something other than tests, and all God gives him is just puts him through the ringer. And God also promises him that he's going to have children like the stars of the sky. And he gets married to a woman who's barren. She can't have any children. And he gives him the land of Israel, and he has to leave. Now, any normal person would say, yeah, I'm going to pick another God. Who wants to serve this God? Not Abraham. Abraham realized, I'm just lucky that God is talking to me. I'll do whatever he says. He's the creator of the whole universe, creator of all the stars, the sky, the spirits, the angels. Okay, and he's doing these crazy weird things to Abraham. And the whole essence is to test Abraham's heart. The fourth, I mean, it came out pretty good because here are the Jews, right? That's why the Jews are eternal. After all the terrible things the Jews have been through, they still believe in God. The fourth test is, like we said, from the day that the heavens and the earth were created, God did not make a famine in the whole world except in the days of Abraham. Not in all the lands, just in the land of Canaan. In the land of Canaan, there was total famine. And this was a big test that he had to go down to Egypt. Hey, I thought that Israel was the blessed, holy, chosen land. You figured that it should be the other way around. Only in Israel is there going to be food. No, it was exactly the opposite. Israel is the only place that there was nothing to eat. Absolutely zero. Nevertheless, Abraham was not wavering at all in his total belief and faith in God. That's nuts. That doesn't make any sense. And that's what Jews are. Believing in God despite everything. The fifth, so you can't really blame Jews that leave Judaism, that try to be non-religious. You can't believe like the Zionists and these people that they, will make a country and will keep God out. Like Rabbi said, they conquered the house and they kicked out the owner. But you can't blame them. Look at all the trouble that the Jews have been through. But on the other hand, that's what a Jew is. Abraham did not do what they did. He didn't come to the same conclusions to leave Judaism. Exactly the opposite. He made Judaism. Okay, fifth miracle. I mean, somebody has to do the truth. Somebody in the world has to be not selfish. Someone has to do it. That's what the Jews are supposed to do. That's what they're supposed to be. They're given terrible, awful, awesome tests, but that's what God expects from them. Let's go. Fifth test, the fifth of the 10 tests. Sorrow was taken from him to Paro. Is there a person that can see his wife being taken away and not tear all his clothes and etc.? Terrible. Sixth test. And there came all sorts of kings to kill him. And they said, let's kill first of all Lot, and then afterwards we'll kill him. That's the whole thing. We'll learn. That's going to be next week. Lot is taken prisoner. The seventh miracle is also Abraham made a big war against these people. Some people consider that to be that he waged a single-handed war against the 4 victorious kings, and he won. But that's not. He doesn't mention that. Abraham was not some sort of a big warrior. He didn't look around practicing all the time, throwing war axes or something. The seventh, and nevertheless he defeated, it says, 4 armies single-handedly. And the seventh miracle, that after he was already like 80 years old at least. After this, it says God spoke to Abraham, and he said, this was what's called the Brit Bein HaBetorim. This was the covenant between the pieces that Abraham slaughtered these different animals and he cut them into half, and God and him passed between, the Shekhinah, whatever, him passed between. And God said, I got good news for you. You're going to go into exile. The Jews are going to go into exile. It says this is the Brit Bein HaBetorim. I guess you can't go up into it, can you? Okay. This is that God announced to Abraham that his children were going to go into exile into Egypt, and they were going to suffer there for 400 years, 200 years. Okay. That's the seventh test. And the eighth test, Abraham was 99 years old. God said, circumcise yourself. You want to be whole? Circumcise yourself. Then you're going to be tamim. You're going to give birth to Yitzchak. That's the eighth miracle. A man, 99 years old, circumcises himself. The ninth miracle, ninth test, Yishmael gets born. Okay, really, Yishmael was born 13 years before, but Yishmael gets born, and he's an archer, and he's shooting arrows at Yitzchak. Yishmael, shooting, he was born earlier, but he's shooting arrows at Yitzchak. And God says to him, evict Yishmael and his mother. His mother was Hagar. How Abraham got married to Hagar, we'll talk about this different story, but Yishmael was his son, and Abraham even wanted Yishmael to be his, what do they call it? His inheritance, that he would carry on the line. And God said, no way, it's going to be, Yitzchak is going to be the one. And of course, the 10th and the most difficult of all the tests was taking Yitzchak, that he was the promise of Abraham, and God said Yitzchak is going to be the one that's going to give birth to all these children, like the stars in the heaven and like the sand on the sea, and he's going to give birth to all of them. But before he gets married, take Yitzchak. Yitzchak was 37 years old, right? Abraham was 137. Take him and kill him. And Abraham said, okay. Woke up early in the morning, and he went to kill Yitzchak. Of course, in the end, he didn't. That was the 10th and the most difficult of all the tests. This is our forefather that we should be proud of. He gave us true self-sacrifice in the face of impossible odds, holding on to the truth because it's the truth. That is Judaism. Abraham, our father. Ashreinu matav chalkenu. Happy are we that we were given this measure of incredible courage and integrity to cling to the truth. As we'll learn more tomorrow. Have a good day with Mashiach now.